Hello everyone, welcome to my channel. I appreciate everyone takes a moment of their time out to view my videos and listen to me rant. But this morning I want to talk about internet love. Is it possible? Well, I've been here long enough and I've met enough people to give you some idea. Now I'll fall into the category, yes it can. But there is a few common sense things you need to be made aware of. So many fall into they see the Asian look of these girls, Filipinos. They're absolutely gorgeous, and you just lose all sense of thought. And you start believing anything. Because, most of us, like me, home alone, rarely get a visit from family and friends. The phone never rings. The TV becomes boring. And we find the internet our outlet. And you get that lonely feeling, and so you start talking to the ladies online. And it's very easy to think that you've fallen in love. Not everybody has the capability to keep what I would call their head on straight. And so it's hard to do. In my case, before I came here, I talked to quite a few ladies. Some of them put on a good game. A very good game. And it's easy to fall into the trap of the entertainment you get. And some of these girls are very good at capturing your attention. And it's hard to separate the honest ones from the ones that's not so honest. The ones that just wanting to find that piece of gold, or someone that they can con, as I would call it. And a lot of us older guys, we become vulnerable. We lose our sense of thought because we get so enticed with the beauty. Because we want to be young again. We get that thrill of being a young man. And it's an adrenaline that it's almost like a drug. You fall into that trap. Fortunately, I've kept my bearings because I had one goal in mind. I wanted a partner that had a similar train of thought, someone that I could carry a reasonable conversation on with, and talk about daily life and different things that we could do together. Now that's one way of finding out if ever who you're talking to, if you are talking to anyone, if they are seriously about having a relationship. If they want to deviate from your conversation, they'll, oh, I'm so hungry. My caribou died. My mom's in the hospital. All those little stories. If they don't want to deviate from it, what you want to talk about, it's a pretty good indicator in most cases. Not always, but in general, that's what you'll run across. Of course, now since things have changed, is uh, cell phones have become the dominant way of doing the conversations now. Over the when I was doing this, computer shops, because the smartphone was just entering the market, and they was pretty basic. So I had a little bit of an advantage. Uh, Grace had to go to a computer shop to communicate with me, and she was very persistent being on time. That's the first thing. Because, the time difference between here and my home averaged between 12 to 13 hours, depending if it's daylight saving time or standard time. But she was very consistent in time. That's another clue. Yes, relationships can happen, and they can be great. But as a little advice, don't fall into the trap. Keep your mind open. Watch for the clues. No, not the first time did Grace give me the clue that she was just after uh, a money option. Yeah, I did send her some money, but it was we were chatting quite some time before that happened. Now, that happened because I evaluated that I was putting a hardship on her. She never asked. Again, keep your conversations open and watch for the deviations of trying to turn you back around into a money option. If that's a constant thing, you probably need to look for someone else. Internet love. Can that happen? Well, today's standards versus when I was online, it's getting less. With these smartphones, uh, it's getting less. And the biggest clue is video chats. So during my time, it was hard to get a video chat. I was fortunate that's when Yahoo was the dominant messenger with video, and the computer shops did offer cams and mics on their computers. So I was very aware of where Grace was at, her surroundings. You know, one of the things I noticed when I was talking to Grace is her clothing. Uh, I noticed if she was wearing any expensive jewelry and things like that. That's something you need to keep in mind. You need to watch out. Those are little clues. Now, they're dressing provocative. More than likely, they want to get your mind off from Wonderland and keep you fantasized just so they can entrap you. Grace dressed nice, but she never was provocative. That's one of the things I really appreciated during our conversations. So she still dresses nice, and she does it in order to keep me young. She enjoys that. I don't know if you've noticed that in her videos, but she dresses very nicely, and that's held true for 13 years. My relationship was very successful. But again, not everybody. No, I've met guys that's had several relationships and it ended up being a disaster. Of course, I only hear the one side, which is not fair to the girls. Now, some of them, it's pretty obvious. The guy wanted to be 100% in control, wanted to be 100% demanding. And he wanted a girl that was 100% submissive. I've even met a few that didn't want to even let their girl out of the home. No. If you want to trap them like an animal and keep them caged, how you expect it to work? So I always had the ideal that if they truly care, you give them enough rope, and if they don't care, they'll hang themselves. Pretty simple. No. Grace has her freedom. She enjoys her friends. No. Throughout our 13 years, she's been to class reunions and things like that on her own. Yeah. I never had to worry. That's another thing too. You can get one that's overjealous, and that can destroy the relationship. No. Grace is a little bit jealous, but she's not at a point where it's overbearing. Of course, I don't instigate it, for one thing. I do look at other girls, and I even comment. But Grace knows where my heart is. And I know where hers is. And if you keep your mind open, you can figure it out. I don't want to make this video too long, because I know you'll get bored. But my advice is, take your time. Watch the surroundings. Don't focus solely on that beautiful face and other things about these young girls. They are absolutely gorgeous. Think about if you're going to come here and you want that relationship, what you can do to keep it improved. And by all means, watch what you spend. When I first came here, felt myself broke pretty more than once, because there's so much to do here in the Philippines, and I wanted to see everything. It was a time of my life, and it still is, that I get excited every time we go see something new. Internet love. It's not as consistent like it was when I was online doing my search. The smartphone has made the difference. It's easy for the girls to communicate and hide the real things. Not like it wasn't during my time. They had to come up with money to rent computers and so forth. Now all they got to do is find a free Wi-Fi spot, which is available in a lot of places. And like I said, the biggest clue is if they're consistent. If they are there at Pacific time that you all agree on, that's a pretty good indicator. But anyway, I'll get back to my little goal, or my internet love. It's worked out wonderful. Living here in the Philippines, I feel more at home than I've ever had in my entire life, even during my childhood. I feel more like I belong here than I ever felt in my home country. One thing, I don't have the stress. And Grace makes it a point to keep that stress level low. That's another clue too you can put on your goals. Find one that wants to keep your stress level low. And learn to relax and enjoy life. Took me a little time to do that. But folks, please keep your mind open. Pay attention. Don't fall into the rabbit hole. They're out there. And the good ones are out there. The very good ones are out there. And they can live anywhere. They can be in the cities. They can be in the provinces. They are good ones out there. It's keeping your head on your shoulders in a manner that you can sort it out. I've always had the ability to read people well, and I got lucky. Very lucky. But hopefully, for you guys out there with the internet love, that you pay attention. And you can tell if it's good or bad if you pay attention. I know it's difficult, because I know these girls are absolutely drop dead gorgeous. And it's easy to fall into that trap because they just memorize your brain. They just take all your train of thought away. It's so easy for them to do it. And some of them will take advantage of it. But again, don't be afraid, because they're out there. There are good ones out there. And they make wonderful wives. But the problem is, it's up to you to make a wise choice. I can't make that choice for you. All I can do is give you my train of thought. And hopefully you open your eyes and pay attention and make a wise choice. That's my story. I'm sticking to it. And folks, good luck. And hopefully everything works for you also. So I want to thank everybody for taking time out to watching my videos. If you don't mind, subscribe, like, and share. Thank you.